Hey guys, just Joe here, and this is me trying to figure out how to put these Sato Rearsets on my 2024 Hayabusa. We're going to start with the brake side. First thing is taking off the OEM rear set basically. So it's pretty straightforward. You need a 6mm hex to take these 3 bolts out right here. That 6mm hex to take out these 3 bolts right here. You'll need a 4mm to take off the heel guard, and underneath there are 2 4mm hex bolts that are holding on the master cylinder. There's also this pin right here which has a cotter pin holding it in to the master cylinder, which you need to take off. Got the bolts off for now. I've already taken the cotter pin out from here and just push this out. There's a washer on there. Comes right out. Oh, there's also this. What I did is I unscrewed this a little bit to pull it out, and then this hooked onto I think, yeah, right, hooked onto right there. Anyway, so there it is off. All right, guys, so now that we've got the stock rear set off on the brake side, I'm going to assemble the Sato rear set. Mostly pre-assemble it before I put it on. So see what it looks like here with everything off. You can see that. So there are 3 bolts here. We're only going to put 2 in. They don't use this one. Looks like there's a master cylinder, 2 bolts go in there. I took off a little bracket that was here. We have the jam nuts here. So I got the brake side of the Sato rear set just like this. Well, this is to hold this in there. So we're going to just put this on here with this nut right here. I'm not sure what size it is, but it's pretty small. I'm going to use Loctite for everything. Next thing I'm going to do is there's this, I think this is a 40mm long bolt with a nut with a 4mm hex head on it. That goes in from the back. So here's the back of the rear set. Brake lever right here. Goes on like this. The back here on the brake lever, there's this threaded hole right here. I'm going to take this, I think it's a 40mm long bolt with a 4mm hex head and a nut that comes on it, and it's going to go thread right into there. Put some Loctite on this guy. And I just wanted it enough through so that it comes to the surface of the other side, but no further. And then I turn down the nut and tighten it. And that is an 8mm nut. Here, so again, we'll orient ourselves. There's the rear set on the bike. There's the brake lever on the back. there's this other hole right here. It's also threaded. You get this small bolt here with a 4mm hex head. Comes with a nut on it. The spring is packaged separately, but I don't know, I just hooked it on there first. And so this is going to go right into here. Put the nut on first, of course. Loctite, at least that's what I do. Same idea. I want the bolt to come through to the other side, but no farther. Kind of like that right there. Then I tighten down the nut. 8mm also. And the spring, I believe, goes over this right here. I've got that. So you go like this. These two will attach to the master cylinder. These two hold it to the bike. This is where the peg is going to go. Next, we have this little doohickey right here. 5mm hex head bolt has this plastic spacer on it, and this is what's going to attach to the bottom of the master cylinder, and this bolt for the other nut for the other side. So this is going to go. So there's the rear set, brake lever, goes through here. This guy goes on here. And what I do is I'm going to take this part here and thread it onto the master cylinder first. I thread it on as far as it'll go. It only goes so far. This adjust. As far as it'll go, and then I tighten down the jam nuts here. So, let's see, these are 12mm, I believe. Yes. Get that snug. Right there. And you know, of course, you can adjust the height with this down here. So put it all the way in first, see how that does. All right, so now we're ready to put this on. I'm going to start with the two bolts that go over here. These are this bolt right here. I'm not sure how long it is, 20 mil, something like that. Has a 6mm hex head and these collars. So there's two sets of collars that come with it. I believe the thicker ones go on this side and the thinner ones go on the gear shift side. So I'm also going to Loctite these. Through here, collar goes on the other side. If you can see that, 6mm. So the brake lever kind of, you know, it's pulled up and kind of in the way. You just kind of push it, pull it down. The spring's pulling it up. Probably before I put that in, I'm going to take this, put it down through that bracket that we put on the back, and maybe even tighten it down a little bit. The spring that's on the other end of this cable right here attaches to the, I believe to the brake lever here, that longer nut that we put through on the back of the brake lever. Next, I'm going to attach the master cylinder back here. These two bolts right here, I believe that's a 5mm hex head, about that long. Some Loctite on this guy. Now this longer bolt with the 5mm hex head. Yep. Longer bolt, 5mm hex head. This is one, the spacer on it, and the nut on the back that goes through this thing that attaches to the master cylinder. So put some. This is a nylon lock nut, but I put some little bit of Loctite on anyway. The nut that goes on the back here is a 10mm nut. Guys, now that we have the rear sets on, Loctited, torqued down, all the springs attached, all we have left to do is put on the peg for the brake lever, foot peg, and the heel guard. This goes right here. No big deal. What I should have done is I should have put on the peg for the brake lever before I put all this stuff on, because now it's a little bit of a pain to tighten it down, but I'll figure it out. So I'm going to Loctite this guy also. So actually, that works out pretty well. It tightens down. That is plenty tight. So the foot peg, I'm not going to Loctite yet until I figure out exactly where I want it. I'm going to start on the lowest position because I'm old and can't bend. And then go from there. Once I figure out where I want it, I will definitely torque it down. The nut on the back is a 14mm wrench. I should hold it. And finally the heel guard, also Loctite. And they do give suggested torques in the instructions right here. So I'll go back and check all those after I get the other side, the shift lever on. Good and tight. There we go. One side done. Now let's head on over to the shift lever side.